Well, I'm Gloria Orona from Orona's Ranch, and my husband, Lawrence Orona, is over here doing some farrier service. And we've been in the South Valley. I've been in the South Valley all my life and been doing horses all my life. So my husband and I started this business about 17 years ago. And we've been doing anywhere from giving horseback riding lessons to boarding, breeding, training, farrier service, trail riding, horse parties, and horse camps. So we love sharing what we have, and that's our love of horses, and just trying to introduce that to children and our community. There's Baby. She's rolling, finally found a good spot to roll after all this rain. And that's normal for horses to roll and feel like they need to dry off or scratch an itch. Right now we're just going to give you a little bit of a tour of our place right now. Lawrence happens to be shoeing a horse, and that's one of our boarder horses, which means so you can keep a horse here and we'll help you take care of it while you're gone at work or on vacation or anything like that. So all the horses always need some good hoof care, and that's what my husband is doing right now. He's doing some hoof care because they need their hooves to have a good foundation for riding. What we're going to do is do a quick demonstration of how to catch, lead, tie, groom, and saddle a horse. So I have my little helper today, Joanna, that's here, and she's been a student for the last 5 years with us. So we have a saddle here that one of my grandsons won this saddle at Grant's Rodeo Association back in 2018. So we try to display these saddles and show the kids that, hey, you can do it too, you know, with a lot of hard work, like in any sport we do. Rodeo is a sport, horseback riding is a sport. You have to be in great shape for it too. So the halter and lead rope is used to catch your horse, lead it, and tie it. So we always approach our horses from the left side because horses are trained from the left side. And it just makes them feel comfortable and safe if we are doing everything the same way every time. Horses love routine. Next, she approached from the left side, let her know she was coming. Now she's going to put the halter over her muzzle first, and then she's going to flip it over her pole and latch it. This safety tie is where a horse you can tie them, they can pull away but cannot get away. But if you had to do a quick untie, in case they are like really panicking and we need to untie them quickly, you'll pull it back out and just pull and it comes right off. We have our brush, our comb, we have some wipies and some fly spray. We also have a hoof pick to clean out their hooves if needed. The comb is to help with loosening the dirt. Let's just do the back where the saddle's going to go. Okay? Put your hand on her shoulder. That hand on her shoulder will be to help the person grooming. In case she gets spooked from the other side, that'll help push you away from the horse and you won't get trampled or stepped on or anything. Same thing, you keep your hand on the shoulder. Now you're going to dust off the loose dirt that was on her, and then underneath where the girth strap goes. Okay? Baby is 30 years old. She's a half Arabian, half quarter horse. She is an amazing horse. They call her the $1 million horse at the First Impressions Rodeo. This horse has already won like 7 saddles, 55 buckles for my students and my grandchildren. It does take time to groom and make sure that your horse is groomed properly, so that way you won't have any problems with the saddle or working with your horse. And because if the horse is uncomfortable, she's going to make you uncomfortable. So right now she's going to hold the halter and clean her eyes. Sometimes they get a lot of yuckies from the sun and then the debris that gets it trapped inside of the fly mask. So we kind of do that. You can put it in your open hand, Joanna, if you can put it like that, and try to go around, and it's just to loosen it up and clean around her eyes as best as you can. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of fly spray onto the wipey. Sorry, Joanna. And she's going to go around the eyes, not in the eye, but around the eyes to protect the horse's eyes from the flies while you're riding, and around the muzzle, and then go back to the other side and do the other eye. Then we're going to fly spray her. You start from the front to the back. The most important part is the legs. And then around her back, under her belly, back legs. Now you gotta keep an arm's length away because they will, you know, just in case to protect yourself. Put it over. And the front of the saddle pad will be about even with the shoulder. Gently put it on top. And it has to be right at the perfect spot there. You need to see this little area right here that it's nice and clear. You can see through it. That will help with the pressure that goes on the horse's withers to make sure that this is not going to hurt her. This has to be a good fit so that you can ride well. We have the girth strap and the flank billet strap. Move your stirrup. We always clean off the flank strap. Excuse me, the girth strap. If there's anything on here that might bother her, she's going to bother you. All right, Miss Joanna, you can take it from there. Okay. There you go. What that does is help keep the saddle down as well. The girth strap with the latigo is what's going to keep this saddle tight on. So it's important to go through. You're going to take the latigo, which is the long strap. It's going to go through the cinch ring. You got to make sure it's just nice and flat. Good job. Then we're going to go up through the top ring, bring the girth strap down. Put it back through the cinch ring again. I think you'll be good there, Joanna. Go ahead and pull it as tight as you can. And what we're going to wait for right here is for her to breathe. Wait, that's good enough. Okay. We're going to wait for her to breathe there for a second. So what happens is a horse holds their breath. And then when you actually tighten it, it's going to loosen up. And you don't want a loose saddle. So you definitely want to make sure it's tight. So we're trying to trick her right now and saying, okay, it's as tight as it's going to get. But in between, we're going to put her bridle on. Now the tie down here is what goes on first. What this does is holds the head from going up and down, puts it in the right position so that they could see the ground. A lot of horses, if they have their heads up in the air, they can't see the ground. A lot of tripping, a lot of things like this. This helps them make a good smooth run for if you're doing poles, barrels, and flags, or just to keep their head in the right position to watch the ground too. Now the bridle is this is the head stall that goes over their head. The bit goes in their mouth. This is the curb chain. When you pull back on the reins, actually that curb chain is what stops your horse. Okay, so the reins are basically your steering wheel. Okay, so I put it on my arm and ready in position to do this all simultaneously as best as I can. So here I'm going to take the halter, and I'm going to put it down to the throat latch. This part of the horse's body is called the throat latch right here. And I'm going to put the tie down over the muzzle, then over one ear, then the next. This part needs to go right over the pole. That is what puts the pressure on the pole to make sure that they keep their head down where it needs to go. So part of the tie down is this that latches onto the saddle. It latches onto the girth strap. So you do not want your horse's head to be too much further than that. I'm going to actually make it a little smaller. So now I'm going to put the bridle on. I'm going to keep the reins on my arm right there, kind of balancing it so I'm not stepping on it. I'm going to put the bit in her mouth, put the curb chain behind her chin here, one ear, then the next. I'm going to raise the brow band right below her ears here. This is actually called a throat latch also. What this does is we tie it on, or latch it on, and you want it where it's kind of just there, so that way in case to pull off the bridle. She can't take it off or slide off. It'll help to keep it on. Now I'm going to take the halter off, and I'm going to tie it up. I don't want to leave it on the ground in case somebody comes and gets tangled up in it, the horse or a student or any of us. So now remember, we kind of still have to go back to latch this. And I'm going to go ahead and latch it. And now we're ready to ride.